and I worried that the effects of the beer ticking was taking its toll. So I decided to visit London in the hope of putting my concerns into perspective. One of the reasons we're here is to meet up with Melissa Coleman. She's a prominent female beer writer.
People may think that binge drinking is an issue that's relatively new, but actually it's even mentioned in the Magna Carta, so being in our country's legislative heart is probably quite a good one to talk about drinking. But actually real ale in particular is hugely historically significant. In London, the Industrial Revolution was run on a diet that you and I would kill for, sort of porter and oysters, so it's really dark, rich beer and oysters. What about you? I'll be pretty happy with that. Lots of different people are discovering beer in their own way and after their own fashion. And I think the nice thing about beer is that you can drink it on so much more of a sociable level. It terrifies me that there are 250ml glasses of wine being poured
I was watching it next night, Jared changed shape, I came out here quick.
Between
Okay, just as was
12.5
popping out.
and 15% alcohol products. And they are drinking those and they are keeping pace with people like me who might have a pint. That is a major problem. Beer is not a major problem.
With that in mind, I decided that to be a responsible beer ticker, it was time to go and talk to Frank at Alcohol Concern. Are you a drinker? Do you like a drink?
Yeah, absolutely. I think actually everyone in this organisation likes to drink. I mean, the point is, we're not part of this campus movement. What's interesting about real ale is, it sits within a broader culture where people are interested more in like local produce, rather than interested in the sort of social context with which something is produced. And I think real ale fits that niche very well. We get how important alcohol is, how great it can be as a way to, it's an aid to enjoying life. The question is, it's about misuse, and the fact is something like 10 million people in this country drink well above the reckoning limits regularly. I mean, look, we're all going to go to weddings, we're all going to have, stag nights, we're all going to binge from time to time. But it's the question of, how often we're doing that, and whether we're aware of the risks. For us, the question is making sure people can make empowered choices for themselves by communicating those risks that sometimes I think the drinks industry tend to underplay.
The visit to London was really insightful. Yes, I was drinking too much, but at least I wasn't trying to drink glasses of wine at 14%. Although I was getting a little bored of the ticking, and now clocked up 250 beer ticks. That's 125 pints of real ale. But instead of focusing on the numbers, I returned again to Thornbridge and the opportunity to focus on appreciating the beer. And in particular, my beer.
So it's 3 weeks since we did the brew day, and we're on our way back. We had a phone call yesterday saying that the brew is ready, conditioned to perfection apparently. So we're going to pay a visit, and we're going to tick it. So it's a new tick, and hopefully it'll be nice.
So we've arrived at Thornbridge Brewery 3 weeks later. The brew's ready. The special brew that I did, I've heard on the grapevine, but it's quite nice. Simon's going to take us home. Simon Webster, he's the manager here. And is he?
Hi Phil,
Good
good to see you.
Very nice, I've heard.
It's among the best Jaipurs ever, and led to believe. So we'll be able to taste it and see. It's already gone out there to a lot of people, so feedback's been good. You've not ruined it, so I appreciate that, thank you.
Have you set it apart in any way? Have you put it out there branded as a Jaipur?
It's not called an India Filet or anything like that.
So it's out unbeknownst to everybody else?
Correct, yeah. Yes, the brewer.
Do you know that you're going to cause absolute uproar in the ticking fraternity by not changing the name?
Yeah. Right, we're going to have a look in here. We've got a little mini cask in it, which if I handle very carefully, we should be able to taste in a little while. The brewer said it was very, very good. However, Kelly's off ill today, so I don't know if it's anything to do with it.
Well, this is it.
Is it, Phil? Time was good.
It's a cute little kegger.
We get a couple of brewers over who help you brew it?
Yeah, they're brilliant. Give a shout.
Okay, right.
If I'm going to tick it, it's got to be a proper half. There you go. Right, fantastic. So, Phil's Jaipur with a twist. There you go. Make sure it's good.
Wow. Do you know what? I was really nervous that it would ring you. It's not. It's absolutely brilliant.
You're driving. You're definitely driving.
Beer is a very, very diverse product. You know, when you talk about beer, you know, people tend to think of it as a brown thing in a pint pot, but actually, even down at the pubs, you know, you can drink from quite a lot of marbles right the way through to a bottle a day or something. It's like champagne. You know, and that's the diversity of beer.
I think it's very, very nice. You did a good job. You didn't do a good job. I think Cam's did a good job. No, it's nice. Very nice.
It makes you realise how much our work goes into it, and I'll never leave a bit in my pint or my heart at the end of the night.
Wine will never have